Hey everybody! So there's my info. First off, this is going to be fast because I've got a lot to talk about. I'm kind of going to give you the shape of the online help initiative we did, and then talk to you a little bit about how we evaluated it, and then talk to you about the results, and we're going to go through it all kind of fast. If you want me to go faster, however, just put your hands up. Do your best Himalaya impression if I'm boring you. So about 2015, 2016, I had the super fun experience of getting to tell everyone our website sucks and we're going to fix it, sort of. We're going to try. And to start, I felt we had to go back to the very basics of figuring out what to do with the website, because they did usability testing most years before I arrived. So it clearly wasn't a usability thing. It was a fundamental issue. To figure this out, I did interviews about the library's website. So these were just little mini group interviews with different user groups in our library. The user groups are pretty standard: students, like undergraduate students, graduate students, faculty. We serve the regional health authority employees. Tried to figure out what they go to the website for, what they're doing there, when it happens. And in essence, what came out of that is they only go to the website when they have a problem that needs fixing and it cannot wait anymore. So that's usually at midnight or on a weekend at midnight. And we aren't around to help them. So when they don't know how to do something, there was no way for them to figure it out. So to help figure this out and give them an asynchronous help option to meet their research needs, we designed what we call the Help Hub internally. Outside, it's just help. And this is a series of 55 videos and text tutorials that are arranged according to user group. So I can give you a bit of a look at what that looks like. This is one of the Help Hub's front pages. It's clearly built in LibGuides. Like, I know you can tell. And then, this is the undergrad one. So you'll notice everything is very broad. It's all very user group appropriate language. This is what they would call things. This is a page deep inside that's got your videos, it's got your explanatory stuff. In this undergrad help hub, we're not putting anything like institutional repositories because they don't care. We're not putting anything. You'll notice there's a link to what is document delivery services there. We definitely don't call it document delivery services. That's kind of the direction we went in with this stuff. So we got that out there. We let it sit for like 8 months, let it get in there, because everybody hates everything that's new. Like 100%. They all hate it. I hate it. Facebook is like, oh, I did this new thing to your interface, and I'm like, well, why would you do that? So first, we wanted to see if they used it despite complaining. Yeah, they do, which was awesome. That's great. This is a usage chart for undergrads for the whole Help Hub. Obviously, the usage for individual videos is a bit lower because nobody is going to the Help Hub and watching every tutorial video we have. There might have been one guy. I'm sure there was a guy who was super into the fact that he was in university now. But you can see the big spike at the beginning. That's September. Obviously, there's like a million noobs. That happens. That holds true across user groups, and generally usage patterns follow the way the academic year looks. They spike up when somebody's like, oh, I have a paper due, and freaking out at, 2 a.m. That spike appears to be repeating, which is interesting to me because I thought that very first spike was going to be the highest it would ever be because it was brand new. But it seems to be doing it again for September, so hey, weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna, all right. Okay, so, fellas, ladies, NBs, does it work? That was the next problem. They're going to it, but what if they're not getting anything from it? So we came up with the plan to sort of figure out how this UX was doing. 9 usability tests. These are all complete. That's really high for a usability test. Anybody that does usability tests is probably like, why would you waste your time like that? The answer is that people get nervous when you do something new to you, and more information gets people to chill the heck out. And I'm always in favor of being chill. So these were designed to test if users could get to the help area, if they could navigate to tutorials that help them accomplish specific tasks intuitively. Also to see if the language made sense, because much as I'm trying to be like, I use the language you use, fellow kids, it might not be right. So then we decided to do interviews. So we have 12 of these completed out of a planned 35 that is also extremely high. I am already seeing redundancies, which is why I'm comfortable talking to you about the themes, is because they're constantly coming up. It's very clear what this is going to say at the end of it. For most of them, I don't know, maybe I could be surprised by extra themes coming up. These interviews, they were asked to compare the content. So they were shown one tutorial video about finding specific books in that they already knew the title or the author of, and they were shown another tutorial about finding new books that they didn't really know anything about. This was done because they're kind of similar subjects, but the 2 tutorials were done in very different styles because they were done by different people. One was very cute, and like, if anyone's heard of Go Animate, had like, I'm a cartoon guy telling you to read Hemingway, look it up. And then music and all of this bells and whistles, and the other was just somebody screen capping the process and being like, if you click here. So we wanted to see what they thought of that. We also wanted to see what they thought of video versus text. And then there were a bunch of general questions regarding online learning. How do you approach it? What sort of resources do you seek out? Where do you find them? That kind of thing. All right, results, where we see what our roses really smell like. Terminology. There were terminology issues. As somebody who lives for basic terminology, this is always horrifically embarrassing, but it happens every single time, so I need to just own it and accept it. There were no clear links to talk to a person, which is hilarious in retrospect. There was like the Ask Us link, and they were like, oh, I can do that online. But when I asked them, you know, make an appointment with somebody to come talk to them, because you're like, I just need somebody to sit with me and talk about this, almost none of them could figure it out. Apparently, it was too buried in like the subject areas and that sort of thing, and in our About Us, nobody was going to go there. Some videos didn't have intuitive titles. That example I gave you of specific books versus known books, versus new books, nobody gets that. Like across the board. We thought that was very like simple, like, oh yeah, you're looking for a specific book versus you want to find a new book. That makes sense, and absolutely nobody understands it. There's a handful of others. The help area did not have help in the title, which is a hilarious thing that happens when you're throwing something together over 4 months with a team of 4 people. It ended up being called Library Services. On the homepage, there was a big thing that said Library Services and then had user groups, and we thought that would be fine. And in retrospect, why would you ever think that would be fine? You're a lunatic, Ruby. We also discovered that there were some video length issues. This was despite heading in with the idea that people were instructed videos must be very short because nobody has the attention span. Some people felt that the tasks they were accomplishing were too complicated for short videos, so we had a handful that slipped through that were quite long. Nobody is willing to deal with that across the board. In our usability tests, people would find the video that they needed to be instructed on how to use something, and they would say, I am not watching a 9-minute video. That is not happening. And also, every single time I test the usability of something with a top nav, with like a bar with like the navigation links, it's invisible. Nobody sees it. They literally, they go all the way down the page looking for what they want, and then they come all the way back up, and then they see the top nav, and they go, oh, well, I feel dumb. But literally everyone does it, and if anyone in this room can solve it for me, I will love you forever, and we will have a very special friendship. We also discovered old content ruins literally everything, like across the board. We had stuff that was completely disconnected from the website because like I'm in the middle of wrestling the bear that is trying to get stuff from old content management systems deleted. But there's no way to get it from the website at all. People find it. People find it and they bring it up and they are completely unable to think critically about it. They're just like, yeah, this clearly looks like it's from 2003, whereas the rest of the website does not. But this must be the thing that I'm supposed to use. The one really nice thing that we got from the usability section is the user group divisions seemed intuitive, and they liked them. They liked them a lot. They liked that everything in this area is relevant to me, and I don't have to see any of the crap I don't care about. Interviews. All right. So there's a little asterisk there because I haven't 100% finished the interviews, but like I said, when every session is bringing up the same thing, according to qualitative research people, I could technically stop now. Generally speaking, video. Video is the #1 content. That's what they want for learning across the board. Then text and images, then something interactive, then just text. Amusingly, a bunch of our interviewees said that interactive content, whether that's quizzes or like a game or an interface that you're moving around, is more effective for helping them learn, but they absolutely will not use it unless it's mandatory. And I was like, I think you should be very proud of how self-aware you are for telling me that. Thank you. Participants will most often seek out video. Pretty much across the board. If it's something they've never done before, they say video. They say that whether it's using a new computer program or searching at the library or their washing machine being busted, that's what they want across the board. But almost all participants also expressed a need for video and text and images to both be available. This was usually cited as there are different situations where I need different things. So, for example, I had people tell me, well, I prefer video drastically, but sometimes I'm trying to figure something out and I'm in public on the 3rd floor, that's the quiet floor, and I didn't bring my headphones, and I'll be really mad if there isn't something for me then. So it was contextually dependent. People also expressed that they wanted to have the text and the images available for the second pass kind of thing. They were like, well, the first time I learn how to do it, I want to watch the video all the way through, but then 15 minutes later, I might have forgotten a step, and I don't want to watch the video again, so I'm going to go back. Things they liked about the video. I was expecting the bells and whistly one to get more of the vote with the, like, you know, it's adorable, it's super cute, it's got a very distinctive branding, it looks like those guys on YouTube that draw. And I was thinking like, that, yeah, people like Flash, whatever. Weirdly, no, not across the board. People would express that they liked that. They would be like, oh, I like the way that one looks, I like that one a little better visually. But then they would say, but it's not as effective for me, and I would get frustrated learning from it because there was stuff obscuring the view of the screen during the search, or the speaker spoke too quickly for me. So even though the other one was more boring, pretty much by universal report, they appreciated that the speaker was slow and clear, and the screen was clear and clearly visible. They did express a preference for consistent audio. That was even like a number of people expressed that they would like to hear the same voice, the same kind of audio happening, because that way they know it's coming from the library and this is the person that teaches me things in the videos from the library. Which again, I don't care about that, but whatever. Content chunked into small tasks. This is huge. 3 minutes or less has been what I've gone with based on what I've seen in these sessions. But it is gigantic to have it chunked because they hate anything longer. Like I've had people tell me 5 minutes, absolutely not. I will not spend 5 minutes on a video. They also get annoyed, like paradoxically, when the video doesn't teach them everything they need to know. The exception to this is when you can daisy chain it. So they'll go from video to video to video and chain it like that. They'll spend 15 minutes, but not if you tell them up front. Text, make it BuzzFeed. Make it BuzzFeed minus GIFs. Easily skimmable. All right. So these are the recommendations that we went through based on what we just said and talked about. Including, we're going to add a panel to the end of each of our tutorial videos that leads to the next one to facilitate that daisy chaining. And now I am willing to take questions.
Hi. Is this on? Yeah, okay. Yeah, video. Definitely agree. I'm curious, do you know if people are finding your videos on your website or are they on a YouTube channel? And that's where they're finding it.
Okay, so this is weird. The majority of people seem to be finding them through the website, and that's bearing up in the interviews. However, there is a little chunk. There is like a little chunk that told me that they literally go to YouTube and they search in YouTube for stuff to do with our library. So they exist, those people, and that is why our videos will stay in YouTube and not elsewhere.
So in dealing with staff who were feeling protective of very long globs of text on the website that you were getting rid of,
Yeah.
was the user testing enough, or did you need other strategies to get them to come around to what you were doing?
For me, the user testing has mostly been enough. Like, I still get, like, complaints, or I get somebody sending me a thing being like, I made this tutorial, and it's like being hit in the face with, like, a brick, like a textbook. And I have to deal with that when it comes up. But usually the evidence is enough for administration at my university, and that is enough to mean that we can go forward.